Mr. Nigam, isn't that a pity? Because in hindsight, I've had it on my shows many times. The government would come and take great credit for striking down Section 377. It opposed it tooth and nail when possibly, like I said, it saw the writing on the wall. It says the wisdom of the court to decide. On the other hand, there's one issue that many of our viewers are unclear about because there have been contradictory statements which have been made. For someone who understands maybe the functioning of the RSS, I want to ask you, Mr. Nigam, what is RSS's stand when it comes down to same-sex marriage?
The RSS has not made any statement on this subject. So once they make it, I'll make that statement also. But our society does not promote, as of now, the development of society does not promote same-sex marriage.
So which society are you talking about?
Who decides?
So who decides what is society?
Parliament decides. How else? We cannot decide in this studio.
So who's put the parliament there? The people have put the parliament there.
Yes. Therefore, it is the parliamentarians. Some bill comes out there, they discuss, then they decide. Parliament reflects the will of the people. Please remember that. Nobody can say today that Parliament does not reflect the will of the people.
You're telling me every decision has come through the Parliament. We gave you a prime example, Section 377. If it was on the Parliament and on our politicians, homosexuality would still be criminal in this country.
Certainly,
so we can't think peons of the Parliament being a representation of the society and pretend to be custodians of the society when we are not, sir. You and I can't be the society.
Whether you like it or not, they are. Our constitution says so. It reflects the will of the people. While sitting in a studio, we cannot say that Parliament does not have the will of the people. And that works through the majority. This is how our parliament democracy functions. And to say that they are not custodians of society, they are. They are the supreme custodian of our society. They reflect the will of the people. And then that is why they have the right to make the laws. That is the ultimate truth.
I'm not a part of this. I'm not a panelist, so I really can't get into that debate. But like I said, any major movement when it's come to women's rights, sir, when it has come to equal rights, when it comes down to LGBTQ, hasn't really come through the Parliament. But Mr. Hegde, you wanted to step in. Go ahead.
Well, Parliament is not there as a reflection of society. That's not what the Constitution provides. What the Constitution provides is that parliamentarians are elected. They can make the laws. Now, if they do not make the laws, if there is a gap in the laws, when the courts interpret them, they creatively fill the gaps. That is how you had the Vishaka judgment, which then brought in all these gender sensitization and everything. Secondly, when there is already a law, the interpretation lies with the courts. And the courts interpret it in accordance with the Constitution. Now, what does the Constitution say? The Constitution provides liberty, equality and fraternity for all, assuring the dignity of the individual. Now, every individual is assured of his or her dignity as well as the equal protection of the law. So, if a man and a woman can marry,
right, and
there is already an act of Parliament, the same Parliament, 1954, which says that any two persons can marry. Then, does any, in that sense, mean only a man or woman, or does it mean that two men and women, two men together or two women together? That is a question of interpretation.
And let's hope once again.
Can I come in for 10 seconds?
Yes, please, 10 seconds. Go ahead, sir.
See, the fact is, Mr. Hegde made a very strange statement. If the Parliament does not make law, then the Supreme Court will make the law. I agree they can interpret, but Supreme Court cannot make the law. Filling gaps is fine, understood. But to say that, and he made a very strange statement that Supreme Court can make a law if the Parliament does not make the law. That would be the end of the democracy in India.
Mr. Hegde, do you want to come in?
No, just to repeat the Supreme Court recently, it's a myth to say that the courts do not make the law. And that was in the Election Commission case. Where there is a gap in the law, the courts certainly through interpretation can make the law.